TL. Doctor moved into very small apartment with BF, and he is gradually taking over any shared space. BF and I are both in our early 20s and have been together for 4 years, living together for 2. I know that some of this is probably my fault for not saying anything earlier, but I'm trying to figure out how to bring it up without sounding petty. BF and I recently moved into an apartment in a new city that is roughly half the size of our previous one. In our last apartment, I moved in halfway through his lease, so naturally it was already set up the way he liked, and he had claim on the better closet and office space. I was really looking forward to making the new place feel more like my own, because the last one never really felt like it belonged to me. However, we are not even a month into the new lease and my BF has taken the larger closet because he needs it for his recording equipment in addition to another clothing rack, since he barely got rid of any clothes, even though we are trying to downsize, and easily has at least twice the amount of clothing I do. He also decided to put a desk for himself in our already very small bedroom and has taken over any shelf space with his book collection. I complained about the desk, but he's arguing that there's plenty of space for me to have one too. There isn't. I even suggested that he temporarily move his desk into the living room so I can have more space to build the bed frame, and he adamantly refused. I feel like I'm back in the same situation we were in at the last place, and looking back I'm beginning to realize that some of the things weren't just because he moved in first, and are more because he's inconsiderate. Edit. I'm a little surprised by how many people are jumping to breaking the lease and dumping him. Is this seriously breakup worthy behavior? Correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like he is trying to make this space solely his and couldn't care less about what you would like and isn't even open to compromise. Does he do this another part of your relationship? Compromise has been really hard, NGL. We've had other fights about things, like him refusing to set the act to anything other than the lowest possible setting, that wasn't resolved until I slept on the air mattress in the living room and told him if he doesn't care even a little about my comfort I'm not going to share a room with him. But everything else aside, we just signed a lease and I'm really committed to making things work. It's okay to look him in the eye and say that you expect to have half of the space in the apartment. It's okay to say he can take no more than one closet. If his clothes and belongings don't fit he has to figure out what to get rid of, but he can't just help himself to your space. Ask him what he would do if you decided to take a shelf in his closet. Tell him you expect him to be a partner and right now he isn't. If he can't be a partner you can't be in a relationship. You deserve a partner. You will only get one if you insist on it, and if you are willing to get rid of someone when they show you that they aren't a good partner. Making it work at the cost of your happiness isn't really making it work. I feel like I'm back in the same situation we were in at the last place. Because you are living with the same person, this is going to be part and parcel of living with him, no matter where you live or how big or small the house is. He's the kind of person you have to be very assertive with and not give an inch. I save myself that time and energy by never living with people like this. I would consider getting your own place and never let him move in. When he asks why, tell him that there is no longer enough room for 2 people to live there. So you said in a comment you're committed to making things work. Okay. So where's the line? How much of his disregard for your needs and concerns are you going to take before enough is enough? When are you going to put your foot down? Right now he has no motivation to change his behavior, because aside from one instance, you've rolled over and taken his behavior. Time to step it up. You are treated as poorly and as well as you demand to be treated. If you put up with shitty behavior, that's what you'll get. If you demand respect and equal treatment, that's what you'll get. Know your worth. Know when to say enough is enough and walk away if the person is unwilling to prove through action that they will change. You are treated as poorly and as well as you demand to be treated. I think that's very true in antagonistic relationships where we have to actively uphold our boundaries. But in loving relationships, a partner shouldn't be trying to see how much they can get away with while the other one plays defense. That's a recipe for an unhealthy relationship. How's the rest of your relationship? I read the replies. The answer is shitty. He doesn't respect you. That's a recipe for disaster. I mean, if you've talked to him and he doesn't see it, make him see it by taking over with your own stuff. Then play dumb. Oh, I put your clothes into boxes under the bed because I just need the extra space for my own. Sorry. Not sure why you would sign a lease with him after the S*** he has already pulled, but that is neither here nor there. Let the landlord know you will be breaking the lease. Pack your things together and move out. One person wanting to make things work does not a relationship make. He needs a firm reminder that this is both of your apartment, not just his. He doesn't get to unilaterally decide anything if it affects the both of you. If he wants the bigger closet, then he needs to give up the desk or vice versa. He needs to be open to compromise, or this living arrangement nor this relationship will work. From what you've written, he sounds like a selfish brat who's used to getting what he wants. Make it clear to him that you are not going to put up with it. Remember that this is your home too, and if he can't get on board with that, then maybe you need to look for a new place and a different partner. You are so lucky to have found this out within such a short time. 2 moves and you know he's not going to change. You'll be fighting him for the medicine cabinet, sink space. You won't even have a place for your toothbrush. Time to move on. Find another apt. You can get a much smaller space because you'll still have 4 times as much space as he'll allow you in this apt. You will just get littler and littler until you take no space at all. How big were you at his old space? You will be half that size at this half that size new apt. And he will buy new equipment and slowly take up more space. Time to expand your horizons. This is slow insidious abuse. This is frog in the boiling water. It's not explosive, it's just you shrinking, and you'll find your happiness and gleefulness and excitement about new adventures shrink as well. Clearly you two have been talking about it, and he's made it very clear that this is his space. He doesn't care what you want, you just get to be there. If you plan on staying this with Sith Lord, then he had better be paying the lion's share of the rent. However, living together is a really big way to figure out how compatible you both are. The answer is, you aren't compatible, and he isn't willing to compromise. He can build the bed frame on his own, and he needs a smaller desk. Smaller app means downsizing, not taking over at all. Do you want this to be the rest of your life? He has taken no consideration into your comfort? Oh, honey, I mean that respectfully, but this needs a sit down serious conversation about give and take in a relationship. You both are young, but if you don't talk about this in a serious way now, this will be the rest of your life. You need to set a boundary and require teamwork on this. Sounds like he doesn't have room for you in his apartment and you need to move on. While I get that rents and apartments are not a good thing right now, it's an out, and if you think /dream/envision an out, as implied by your last statement, then part of you is already out. Keep going. Leases can be broken, hearts can be broken as well, and then life goes on. You're not happy, and not comfortable, and it's not so evident that he cares. What concerns me is that your boyfriend doesn't seem to have noticed that you both live there together. He seems to still be thinking that it's his space that you moved into, kinda most of the time, to be shoehorned into the corners. Does he earn lots more? Does he somehow think that justifies taking up extra space? What else is he selfish and inconsiderate about? Seems he is selfish. Love is not selfish. Totally the opposite, in fact. If you split rent and other shared expenses equally, you should get half the apartment space too. Sounds like only one of you is worried about being considerate. If he's not willing to actively work with you to resolve this in a sit-down conversation, or a few, then lease be damned. If he wants to make this apartment is so bad, let him have it, and move somewhere where there's room for you to exist. Right now you're just paying half of *HIS* rent, which is great *FORHIM*. You deserve both a comfortable, workable living space and a respectful, considerate partner. I hate that right now you have neither. This is about him being a control freak and having to have it his way. Do you want a life like that? He doesn't seem to care much about you. Maybe want to rethink this relationship. Regarding your edit, you are so young. Do not waste any more time on someone who gives zero shits about your comfort and happiness. My parents have been together 40 years and my dad will still do whatever he can to make my mom feel happy and safe and comfortable. Go find someone worthy of you. You are so right. And nuclear family really affect our life and choices. Regarding your edit, this is 100% breakup worthy behavior. If you cannot learn to cohabit with one another, the relationship has no long-term future. The only solutions, if you cannot figure out a compromise yourself, is to go to couples therapy, to get there, or break up. Or live in separate places forever, I guess. I'm trying to figure out how to bring it up without sounding petty. Go to him with the exact figures of how much space he is taking up vs how much is left for you. If you're both paying the same rent, you're both entitled to equal space. Tell him you're unhappy and you feel like you're being pushed out of your own space. If he hears that you're unhappy and doesn't care and or is uninterested in making changes, then your relationship doesn't really have a future. You can't make someone care when they don't.